Hello and welcome to another episode of Around the Verse. I'm Eric Kyron Davis.
And I'm Josh Herman.
Today we're dropping in on Area 18's Spaceport, taking a look at improvements to gimbaled weapons and getting the scoop on the MISC Reliant variants coming in Alpha 3.5.
But first, let's check out some stream highlights from Project Nomad, a series of PvP events organized by Detox TV.
In these events, players are tasked with the objective of arriving undetected at the Jump Town drug lab and disrupting the flow of Widow, all while disguised as the Nomads of Lear 3.
It's always a crazy time at Jump Town.
Sure is.
On to development. Over the past few weeks, we've gotten several looks at the development of ArcCorp. But this week, we head back to the city planet to look at its primary spaceport, located on the outskirts of Area 18.
Here's Joel Azaparty and Nicholas Etheridge with more.
So we're going to look at the spaceport, and the first thing about the spaceport is we looked at the existing one, and then we looked at what worked really well with Lorville and what worked not so well with Lorville. So one thing that we wanted to address when working on Area 18 was to bring those areas slightly away from each other. So that kind of helped with performance, but it also helped with quite an interesting transit route, because it's not just a straight into Area 18, there's a more weaving in and out of that. So we're going to look at that in a bit more detail with Joel Azaparty, one of our environment artists.
So this is Area 18 Spaceport. It's the main transport hub for people coming in to the city and leaving the city. We've got a variety of different landing pad sizes, from extra large hangars all the way down to small hangars. And we've got a mixture of both AI landing pads and player hangars, so it always feels busy because ArcCorp is a very dense and busy planet.
We're looking at different ways of doing traffic, not just one thing. So it all depends on the distance you're seeing this from. You've got the stuff that's really far away, hundreds of meters away, and with that we can get away with like a scrolling texture. But the more closer you get, obviously, a scrolling texture is no good. So we're looking at other things like AI ships coming down to land. So we've got specific landing pads around the actual vistas of the spaceport, so we can see lots of comings and goings of different ships, as well as the actual player.
We've gone for a sort of minimalistic approach with the design of the spaceport, and it's really twofold. One, from a design point of view, less is more. Visual rest is good, and especially in such a dense planet. So once you come to the spaceport, you'll be getting a transport system similar to Lorville, but more of a shuttle bus than a train system. So you'll come out to an area like this, and the shuttle will take you along through this runway towards the city, and it kind of really sells the sense of scale and distance of this planet. You see your destination towards the end.
So with the transit system, we looked at kind of stuff we did with the demo in 2017, and just that alone was really cool, flying in and out of the buildings and having that weaving stuff and getting a real feel of the city. Instead of a train system, we went for the shuttle bus service, so it's a real opportunity to have that kind of feeling, have you weaving in and out of skyscrapers, going over the tops of rooftops and in between buildings, and even going down into the trenches and seeing the traffic below and bridges and things like that.
This is where you would come and you'd take the shuttle and you would arrive here at this point. You would go through security. Every spaceport's going to have security to safeguard the citizens of that planet and make sure you're not bringing in anything illegal or banned on that planet. And then this would be the main lobby of the spaceport. So you have your ship terminals, your ship kiosks, where you can spawn owned or rented vehicles, and we'll have lounges over here. So we're going for more of a commercial vibe with the ArcCorp spaceport. So we've been doing some lighting tests for the interior, trying to get these light shafts to come in through the atrium windows. When you're here, you've got this light drawing you to the atrium and out into this vista, and that's your first view of ArcCorp.
We're looking to create some interesting views from those areas, getting the real silhouette and skyline of sprawling, metropolis. But I think it's really looking cool, and it's a really cool kind of area to fly around.
Eric, you know what? If there's one thing we like talking about here on ATV, it's turrets.
That's true, yeah. We've covered many improvements to turret gameplay. Some might say we've had a terrible torrent of turret talk.
Did Jared or Mike write that one for you?
Jared.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That said, it's important to keep making tweaks to really lock in a fun and satisfying gameplay experience.
Very true. And as the new flight model makes its way closer to the live game, and we continue to look at the elements being developed that will bring it all together, one such element is improved gunning, and Gimbal Assist is a big part of that.
Let's go to Kirk Tomei for more.
We made some significant improvements to controlling turrets, especially in the direct input from the player to where the turrets actually end up aiming. One additional feature that we wanted to add was that while the sensitivity of the turrets was adjustable by going to the options menu, it's not the most optimal solution to basically pause the game and then make minute changes to how fast your mouse or joystick input are in relation to how quickly the turret turns. What we added was we added a couple of controls. One, there is now a HUD element that shows up above the cursor in the turret, which will show you your current angles for pitch and yaw, and will also allow you to, via either hotkey or a dashboard control that you use with the interactive menu, to on the fly increase or decrease the sensitivity. So while you're chasing the target around, you can hit a few keystrokes and then slow it down so that it's much more minute, and then when the target flies away from you, quickly increase it so you can turn quickly and then aim at your target. So on the roadmap, we see a new feature called Gimbal Assist, and it basically allows you to fire at targets without your cursor controlling both where the guns are firing and where your ships are aiming towards. So to demonstrate how this works, basically you target an enemy just like you would normally. While the target is within those constraints, your gimbals will start aiming toward that target independent of where you're actually moving your cursor to fly. So you could be flying toward the right, but if the target's to the left, within the new Gimbal Assist aim circle size, your gimbals will start turning toward that new target, and then depressing the fire button will fire toward where the gimbals are now aiming. Using a feature like this, which allows you to fly and fire disparately, will be a great advantage. But we still do want to balance it so that ultimately, if you are using either fixed or the regular gimbal mode, you'll be able to have, I think, a lot more freedom to be able to fire at larger angles. But this will give you a little bit of assistance if you want to go ahead and concentrate more on flying and then let your guns hit the targets that are in front of you.
From ship weapons to ships, 3.5 will include the other variants of MISC Reliant.
That's right. Known for its unique transformation from horizontal to vertical flight, each of the new Reliants offer a fun twist on the core model for the artists and designers tasked with bringing them to life.
Who should start? All right, you start, and then I'll go.
What do I say?
You just say your name, and then I'll say my name, and then I'll say what part of, or what do you want? Tell me what you want, Jared. Usually it's an interview.
I want you to tell us who you are and what we're doing here today.
Okay, go ahead, go.
Hi, I'm Steven. Was that too close to Hi, I'm Steven.
And I'm Elwin, and we're part of the MISC internal development team. And we've been working on the Reliant for the past couple of months, trying to bring to life all of the new variants that we've promised from a long time ago, so it's been quite a while. Last week we gave a presentation internally to the studio just to give an update to where things were, and we'd like to share that with you now. As part of the presentation, we put together a little video just to show the team exactly what we've done.
This is the modified version that we released in 3.4. It's got some extra cargo just so we could expand it and fit the rest of the variants.
Yeah, and to be clear, this is obviously not the full amount of cargo it can hold. It was only able to previously hold 4 SCU, and we've expanded that out to 6. So now you can carry 50% more cargo, which is pretty cool. We took the interior of the cargo hold and retrofit it so that it has a small habitation, enough to house 2 beds, a bunk bed. These are extremely tiny.
Yeah, they're very small. They're smaller than the regular beds, but they fit, and so we decided to use them.
Yeah, one would say they're almost coffins.
Yeah.
We also have, obviously, as you can see here, a little sort of bathroom and shower combo. And on the right side of the ship, we've got an avionics unit, and then we've also got a station. I'm gonna pause here real quick just so we can kind of look at this a little bit. This station was sort of inspired by
a news van or like a surveillance van.
And we kind of wanted to have sort of a wall of screens, but
Yeah.
being that this is MISC and they have a lot of, we're going to eventually have a lot of holographic displays, we wanted it to be sort of kind of like Minority Report, where it's literally just a wall of floating displays. That's
Yeah.
going to look super cool. So let's continue with the video here, and we're going to have the Mako version, which is what we're looking at, transition over to the Tana.
The Tana, yeah. So the Tana actually has one SCU of cargo, so you can actually put some mission boxes in there. It's also going to have an armor locker and some weapon racks, so you can put some weapons in there.
Yeah, don't let the gold shirt inside of the armor rack fool you.
Yeah.
That's actually meant to be for armor. And you can hold specifically, at the moment, 3 rifles.
3 rifles, that's right.
Yeah, and obviously you still have the beds and you still have the bathroom in there. So it's kind of a cool, versatile, or actually I think this might be the most versatile ship we have of the starters. Which
I
is kinda
agree,
cool.
yeah.
Continuing on, this is going to transition over to our 4th variant.
The Sen.
The Sen, this is a science station. Let's pause that right here as well to kind of just take a look real quick. So the Sen version is an interesting version because at the moment the gameplay for that is still being developed.
That's true.
So in order to represent, the scientific part of the ship, we've gone ahead and built a little workstation with kind of a microscope type of setup, and also what I call the vacuum
area.
Yeah, a little contained area. So this is like a vacuum box. I don't actually know the real name of it, but
I have no idea.
it's super cool. That's where you'll put your alien specimens and hope
Exactly.
you don't get infected. So that's kind of cool.
It's also got a little support station, so you can be on the computer, looking at your samples or whatever, what have you.
Yeah. And now we've got a couple of turntables of the original.
Yeah, the original core.
Which is pronounced
Core, I believe.
And we're looking now at one of the exterior attachments. This is for the science version.
Yeah, that's the science version. It's supposed to be a sensor array of some sort that you can remote into, and then you can do your sensor gameplay.
Yeah, and you can see that here attached at the bottom as well. We're going to transition over to the dual mount, dual weapon mount. So this one is specifically for the military version.
I believe so. I think it also goes on the core version in the original concept, so we're going to add that on to the core.
Cool. I'm going to pause it here actually real quick because I do have a question, which is, notice how on the top we have a single mount, on the bottom we have a dual mount?
Yes.
Can I also just put a dual mount on the top?
If you have 2 dual mounts, then you can swap them if you want.
Cool. All right, let's keep going with this. We're going to transition over to our last variant here, which is the Mako.
The Mako, yeah.
And this one's kind of cool because this is kind of like the science version, but I saw the prototype of this in game of you actually looking through that camera.
Yeah, so you can actually remote into the camera and then use that to capture your footage, and it's going to have a nice little overlay to show you just that you're in a remote view.
Cool, and that's it. That's the demonstration we gave internally to the team just to keep them updated. We hope you like it.
Yeah, and the gameplay for the science version and the news reporting version aren't going to be in 3.5, but we've laid the groundwork for it, and we hope you guys enjoy it.
Those guys are having way too much fun. Yes. Look for those ships hitting the space lanes in 3.5, and remember the new Argo SRV tug ship is still available. And we just released a Q&A all about it on the website, so check that out for more insights and info.
And speaking of Alpha 3.5, we're working to release a patch to the PTU for Evocati testing.
Yes, this patch won't be the full 3.5 content release, but it will be a way to start testing our new flight experience, and we're looking forward to getting your feedback.
And for more on the new flight experience, make sure you tune into twitch.tv/StarCitizen tomorrow at noon Pacific for a new episode of Reverse the Verse.
Gameplay programmer David Colson will be in the studio to give us a look at the new flight model in action and answer your questions live.
Thanks to our subscribers for sponsoring all our additional community engagement.
And thanks to all of our backers for supporting development.
Until next time, we'll see you around the verse.
Thanks for watching. For the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42, you can subscribe to our channel, or you can check out some of the other shows, and you can also head to our website at www.robertsspaceindustries.com. Thank you very much for watching.